Hi guys, or everyone. I know it's been a little bit since I made a video. I do want to apologize for any toddler noises you may hear in the background. She is watching TV right now, specifically Tom and Jerry. So she gets excited sometimes and you may hear that. Apologizing now for it. So today we are going to talk about raids. It's very hard for me to record the beginning of a raid because it's kind of an intense time, and it's just impossible for me to do. I will try to get that recorded for you here soon, just so you can see what that looks like. As you can see, I did prepare for the raid this week, so I do want you guys to know that raid day is every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Alright? Every single Sunday, it's 11 a.m. sharp every single time. And everybody just starts going at the bosses. The first boss is usually the Mildred. He's normally the first boss that you go at. I believe it's Mildred. Yes, it's Mildred. And he is a common, so pretty much usually have. So right now we are on last boss. We are on Agmal. Agmal is the last boss. That is boss 20. So when we talk about raids, see how it says level 20 right here? Level 20. So when we talk about raids, level 20 is the last boss, as I said. So you go from level 1 to level 20. You can also see these are your energy boost. So what the energy boost are is that some people... Well, some clans will boost their entire clan. So as long as you have gems, which if you need to know how to get this many gems, the most you can have on your account at a time is 100,000 gems. If you need to know more about this and need to know more about opening your piggy, I will put a link to my very first video that talks about opening the piggy and how to do that, as well as kind of the trick and the secret to using that piggy glitch, so that way you can have those gems and you can learn how to fill it as well by doing gem farming, which I also have a video to that as well. That would be the second one in my main tutorial series that I did when I first started doing this. Alright, so here we go. 1 hour unlimited energy for all clan members. You may wonder how people get hours and hours and hours of energy boost. They pretty much just click this. So there we go. I gave another hour of energy boost, and then they go back here and they click it again. Now there's 2 hours. All right, they go back, they click it again. Now we have 3 hours, and so on and so forth. So that's how we get it to where we have the clan boosted throughout the entire week. Let me just click it one more time. Now we have 4 hours of boosting. I was so confused when people were like, oh, I boosted for 12 hours. I'm like, it does not say that anywhere in here to boost clan for 12 hours. They're like, dude, you just click the 1 hour unlimited energy for all clan members 12 times. Of course you do. I felt so dumb because it does stack. So you could just keep clicking that and it does stack. You know, you can get it to where it's fucking damn near all week the clan is boosted. Energy boosted. So there you go. So don't even bother buying these. If you have enough gems, just go ahead and do the unlimited energy for all clan members for however many hours you want it. Now remember, if you want more hours, you just keep clicking, you know, click the 480 12 times for 12 hours, click the 480 24 times for 24 hours, and so on and so forth. So that's how this would work. Another thing, so when you first go in here, everybody kind of does their own little bit of damage. I think the minimum damage you need to get on the first few bosses is usually like 5 to 10. I think it's 10% from like level 1 to 5. I think 5 to 10, it's so like level 1 to 5 bosses are common. 5 to 10 are rare. 10 to 15 are supers. And then 15 to 20 are the ultras. So it goes from 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars. Now, another thing you'll see on bosses is the weakness, right? Like right here, their weakness is ice, so you could go the route of just using like ice dragons, you know, with whatever fairy you want to use. But for me, I'm very particular on the dragons I use. I kind of use the same dragons and fairies for all the bosses, except for the first ones as the commons. So the commons, I usually go for using like a Lyra. I usually always try to start out with Lyra because I want to get used to using her more and more. I have a hard time using her on some bosses, and that's when I'll switch to Jade. But I always have this dragon, Mystic Titus, equipped. I consistently have him equipped on the left side. There is a reason for that, and it's because this dragon not only has Amplify, which makes any items that drop from the raid boss last longer, like the mushrooms, you know, have that double bullets for a lot longer. It makes, you know, and then we have Scavenger, which makes more items drop than originally would be dropping. So we have a 20% more chance for items to drop from that raid boss, like clovers and mushrooms, which are really important. And then we also have Flower Power. So these this is an event dragon, and it comes with the Flower Power event or Magnolia event. And what this does is every 6 seconds there is a 50% chance for Marigold to drop, which grants plus 50% Guardian attack damage for 4 seconds. So pretty much your damage is going to go up by quite a bit on your fairy whenever you catch these. And that's just extremely useful. It is so useful. And it's even better when you can get a magnet, because sometimes magnets will actually drop from raid bosses. Not all the time, but sometimes they'll randomly drop, especially if you have this dragon on, you have that scavenger effect. They will drop more often than not. So that's why this dragon is so important, and whenever this event comes around, you'll kind of see the veteran players in the clan be like, make sure you guys buy these. Whenever you see that, whenever you see veteran players telling you, make sure you buy these event dragons, that is just, it's so important. Because events only last for so long. Because these Lasurian dragons are extremely handy. As you can see, Thisia has boss homing. It has 50% damage to bosses, and it also has deep freeze, which will freeze the boss. So that it's just extremely helpful. Make sure you have Lasurian dragons. The Lasurian dragon I actually use with Lyra, which I'm going to equip it right now, is Marinia. Even if you have like a low level Marine, it's just extremely useful. So I always do this for the last like 2 bosses, for the Mechaniac and the Agmal. This is the combination I use. This is the fairy I use, the dragon, and the 2 dragons I use. If it's the first set of dragons, the first 10 levels of dragons, I actually use these 2, and then I use Lancelot on the right side. The reason why I really like Lancelot and Marinia is because they both have this skill called Synergy, which makes Lyra's like blobs, or like whatever they are. You'll see them in a minute. I'll go ahead and use her in a minute with Marinia, but it makes them come down a lot more often, which is why these 2 dragons are just, they're so useful. Now, Marinia also has the added advantage of having deep freeze. Lancelot has champion, which still actually gives you more damage and homing. So that is why I use Lancelot for the first 10 levels with Lyra, and the last 2 levels I use Lyra with Marinia. The rest of the time, between 10 and 18 of raid, between the levels of 10 and 18, I only use Jade with Thisia, or I'll use Jade with Aventuria, which are both, again, Lasurian dragons. What's great about Aventuria is this one's amazing if you are fighting any of the raid fluffies. Any fluffy that comes up, because fluffy, I think there's like 4 or like 5 or 6 different fluffies that come up throughout the raid. Amazing dragon, especially once they start splitting apart, because you have this triple spread, you have the poison damage, and you have deep freeze. So you're just kind of getting these fluffies with all of this. And that's what makes Aventuria such an amazing dragon for Fluffy. I wouldn't really suggest him for any other raid boss other than the fluffies. He actually is kind of useful for queens, depending. So that would be your best bet. I know some people who use some of their best raid, like another great raid guardian for the red bosses, the last 4, like Agmal and Mechaniac and Theros and all those last few bosses, Grimrose. I've also heard a lot of people use Lucia, that fairy. She's a really good guardian. She does this like freeze effect where everything stops in time and you can just start really going at that boss, which is very, very nice. I guess she got excited for a second. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and do this. Now I'm gonna admit it, I'm not as good at playing on my computer as I am on my phone. We're gonna try this anyways, so I should still be able to do this. So I'm gonna try to avoid. So this is what Synergy does. It makes more of these come down than normally would come down. Oh, there we go. Finally got water. Sometimes you won't get any water like the entire time, and it's really annoying. Alright, we got more clovers coming down from Mystic Titus specials. Oh, there's the marigold. I just caught it, and as you can see, my damage went up as I'm catching that marigold. And damage also goes up as you catch these little. So you definitely want to focus on getting the blue, the water one, the water element. That's what's great about Lyra, is that she has those elemental cannons, and you can really use it to your advantage when you're playing Agmal. So yeah, another thing you could do is use your laser, and that way when you do your gem revive, you aren't just lasering the whole time. So I was kind of teaching you how to do this right now. Everybody thinks, some people who aren't used to fighting him can think that Agmal is a really hard boss. He's really not that difficult. I just want to say that right now. He's not as difficult as you would think at all. In my opinion, he is the easiest of the last 3 bosses. Well, him and Mechaniac are both pretty easy in my personal opinion. Again, this is just my personal opinion. It's not how everybody feels, but it's how I feel about it. I feel like he is definitely the easiest by far. But it's pretty much, if you know how to fight him. So you got to have a strong fairy. You have to have strong dragons to fight him in order for him to be easy, or he's not going to be easy. So you really got to make sure you have the right stuff. Make sure your fairies are full star levels, which I'll show you that here in a minute. So let's fight him one more time. I really just wanted to show you guys the basic mechanics of fighting this last boss, because this is the one a lot of people struggle with. I'm going to be honest, I think the hardest boss is Coldor. I really hate him. Every time he comes up, me and my husband both, oh, it's fucking Coldor. nobody likes Coldor. I know a lot of veterans really like him because it's a challenge, but I don't. I enjoy the easier ones. I think they're a little bit more fun, and I can really go at them a lot and have a good time. Coldor is not fun for me because I just get more irritated than I do anything else when fighting him. That makes sense. Coldor makes me really mad. So oh, my child's just kicking everything right now. Maeve, stop. Alright, here we go. So I'm going to continue to fight him. Like I said, I did that thing where... Yeah, I didn't get really many blue blobs this time at all. Hey, chill. She's growling at me now. Fun. But anyways, yeah, I didn't do near as good this time as I did last time, which is okay. So I'm probably just going to quit here. I mean, it's not like I need the rewards that bad. Pretty much all of my dragons are pretty high up there. I have a lot of Lizurian dragons at this point. But yeah, so these are pretty much the basics of fighting Agmal, is you kind of want to stay in this similar vicinity right here. You don't ever want to go all the way to the side, really. So you mainly just want to avoid that laser. So you just kind of want to stay, kind of like right by it, but not too much. There is a bit of a method when fighting Agmal. He does have a bit of a method to him. Alright, well that's how you fight Agmal pretty much. Like I said, I don't really have to worry about running out of energy or raid energy because, you know, it's Agmal. So, it makes it pretty easy. Oh, again, an easy way to get your star level up, or your star shards, is to pay attention to when they're in the shop and try to make sure you have the gems that you need to buy those. Alright. Again, as I was saying, so I know a lot of people that use Lucia. I have Lucia almost up to full star shards, but not quite yet. So as soon as I do that, I will probably start testing her out on the last few bosses. Maybe she'll even work better for Coldor than Jade. Who knows? Again, I do love using Jade though. Jade is one of my favorites when it comes to fighting bosses. So if I use Jade, I usually use, you know, I'll equip her, and then I will equip, again, I'll equip Thisia and Messic Titus. So with Jade, or I'll even equip Krampus. Krampus is a fantastic dragon because he has a snow cone effect. So that makes him a really good dragon. He also drops more mushrooms and has poison breath, which is extremely nice with that snow cone. The snow cone will destroy meteors, bullets, things like that. So it actually makes him really useful on Coldor. I definitely have a much easier time with Coldor when I'm using Krampus. So just a tip for those who are having a hard time with him. So that's pretty much what I can tell you about raids. That's some of the best information I have about them. I've explained raid energy. I've explained how to fight Agmal. I've explained the better fairy and dragon combos. Again, when you're doing raids, okay, you really, really don't want to use any other fairies except Jade, Lyra, and Lucia. There's no reason to use any other fairy but those three. Those are your best fairies, and really your best two is Lyra and Jade. Jade is a great fairy if you don't want to put a lot of effort into your raids. Because she has that invisibility thing where she does twice the amount of damage and becomes invincible. So she becomes invincible and she does twice as much damage, which is just a fantastic special to have for raids. And what's great about her is her bar fills up depending on how much damage you use. And so she's a really high damage output fairy. And you really don't have to do a lot of work. You could do something called autopilot, which I'm going to go ahead and do for you real quick so you can see what that looks like. I'm going to autopilot for you for a second. So to do autopilot, it doesn't work as well in Agmal as it does others. Agmal, if I were you, I would just fight him with Lyra and what I showed you. You see what I mean? Not really a lot of effort, just kind of... You're kind of just chilling. Actually, you kind of want to die and use your gem revives with Jade. And I'll show you why here in a minute, why you want to do that. There's actually a method to using Jade and to using her effectively. So this is what I do. I let her die. Suicide real quick. And I use the revive laser to fill up her bar. Which unfortunately you can't see very well because Agmal's in the fucking way. But there you go. It pretty much fills up her bar immediately. And this is why we all love using Jade, especially if we don't feel like putting a lot of effort into our raids. That right there is why, because she's just extremely easy to use, and that's what makes using Jade really well, and really kind of just a great fairy in general, and why a lot of people use her for raids. So that would be the reason for it. I absolutely love Jade. She's one of my favorite fairies in this entire game. I do want to say again, I'm sorry for all the noise in the background for anyone that's hearing a lot of that. Like I said, everybody's awake now in the house, and last time I recorded these, I recorded them kind of early in the morning before everybody woke up. I didn't really have time to do that. I am going to go ahead and claim my piggy real quick. Again, if you don't know how to do this, have your piggy for free. If it says $4.99 down here, if it says, you know, buy it for $5 instead of unlock, that means you have not unlocked your piggy or have not done the piggy glitch, which I talk about in detail in my first video in the tutorial series for Everwing. So make sure you check that out, especially if you need to learn how to do this, because this will really just make the game a lot easier for you. I mean, you could pay to unlock the piggy, but you would be spending like $100 a week to have 100,000 gems in here and to be playing this game, and just, you don't there's better things to spend our money on than a game. Okay, so learn how to do the piggy glitch if you haven't done it yet. Again, if you're on iPhone or iOS, you're not gonna have gem revives. Okay, this is about the best things I can show you today, guys. So I hope today was helpful. I hope it showed you what you need to do and raids, how they work, the inner workings of it, and the best dragon and fairy combinations for raids. And hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the video today. I definitely worked really hard on it. This was actually recorded when the Sugar Rush event was still going, even though it's not going anymore. I will still put out the video on those. I actually had to cut those parts out of this because it would end up being way too long. So I'll probably have that in my next video, and I'll talk more about event dragons like these, like the primal event going on right now and things like that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and make sure to leave a thumbs up or subscribe, and let me know if you want more. Thank you. Bye-bye.